Hey everyone, welcome to Cover to Cover again. I haven't done a cover to cover in a couple weeks, and I really wanted to talk about Tom Holland's book, Dominion. Dominion is not a casual read, but it's probably one of the most important books that has been published in Christianity, probably in a good long while. And it's very important because even though the length is substantial, probably 500 plus pages, it is extremely well written for the person who would want to pick up a work like this and read it and digest it. Don't let the size of Dominion intimidate you. It's not written, even though it's heavily researched. It's an extremely researched book, as you'll find out when you start going through the pages. But Tom Holland's ability to write a compelling story in a history form is unbelievable, and I would say almost unparalleled and unmatched. If you want a good history of how the world, from the time Jesus was on earth until right now, has been influenced and pretty much dominated in terms of the worldview that most people have today, it points out really clearly how we got to this point and how Christianity has been for the last 2,000 years the primary driver of culture, the primary driver of how we structure our societies and how we understand what it means to be human. Let me recommend how to read this book, because this isn't even though it's very easy to read, okay, in terms of a well-researched book, it's not a casual read like you'd pick up a casual library book of fiction and read it at the beach. This isn't necessarily a beach read or a vacation read unless you're really into works of history. If you're into works of history and you love it, it's right up your alley and you could read it in a vacation setting. If you're looking to grow, if you have a curiosity about this, but you're not looking for necessarily it to be a beach read, I would read it with a pen and I would read it with a highlighter, because you're going to want to dialogue a little bit or mark it up. If you thumb through my copy of Dominion, it is yellow all over the place because the content is so remarkable, and anyone who has taken their faith seriously and wants to know about how we got to where we are as believers from, again, after the resurrection of Christ to right now, would be well suited to pick up a book like this. This is not only a book that's important for the reader, but it's important culturally for Christians too, for us to understand where we've come from, and honestly, in a lot of ways, where we're going. It's important for the culture to understand how we think, and for us to understand how we structure our society and all those things like that. It's an important book, not just for the church, but for culture as well. It goes across the world, across cultures, across all different time frames. It just doesn't write good things either. This pulls no punches. It highlights the positive contributions, but if we're going to look at how Christianity has influenced the world, we have to be honest with ourselves and look at the negative aspects of Christians in the past and look at maybe some negative practices of Christianity here in the current culture in the current day. It's a very, very substantial and great work. If you have the chops to and the desire to cut through an almost 600-page, well-researched book, man, pick up a copy of Dominion. You're not going to regret it. So that's my suggestion for Cover to Cover today. If you like this video, if it's been helpful to you, consider subscribing to Southside. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and we would love to have you along for our conversation to see what we're doing. And God's doing amazing things at Southside, and we want you to be a part of it too. So this has been Cover to Cover with Pastor Stephen. You have an awesome week, and we'll see you again next time.